It's amazing that we've come this far from the dark days of slavery, and though through shameful injustice of American apartheid called segregation, seated in fear with lynchings, Jim Crow laws, black codes, and racially motivated police enforcement. The fertile ground created by early questionable Supreme Court decisions allowed these injustices to go on for hundreds of years after the Civil War, and was only tempered by the passing of the Civil Rights Act of 1965. And still the corridors of institutional racism and gender bias echoes with injustice. Even after electing the first African-American president in the history of the United States, twice, the white elephant in the living rooms of America remains to be the fight for equality and social justice and the practice of unequal justice under the law. The truth is that the demographics of America are changing. And if we continue or want to continue to be a great nation, we must also change. John Grisham's book inspired a movie called A Time to Kill. It poses a perplexing question and gave us another opportunity to see the world as many disenfranchised minorities see it. So when we think about Tamir Rice in Cleveland and contemplate his death on a playground with an air gun, and while I know we have lots of young people in the room, some of the older people here remember having cap guns as kids. And mine was made of metal, and it looked very much like a real gun. So I'm going to ask you to do something here that was done in the movie A Time to Kill, if you'll just bear with me. You could close your eyes just for a moment. Just for a moment. And I want you to picture a normal 12-year-old boy who's in the 6th grade, playing with a toy gun, swinging on a swing on a playground of a recreation center. A police car quickly pulls up on the sidewalk within inches of a gazebo where the boy's playing, and the police jump from the vehicle, and they yell a command at the boy, and then bullets ring out just 10 feet away from where the young boy's playing. He falls to the ground, and he lays there for 4 minutes until additional officers come to the scene to administer aid. Notice the officers who were there who did the shooting did not administer aid. And another 3 to 4 minutes before an ambulance pulls up. Around the same time, Tamir's mother and sister appear, and they see his body laying there on the ground bleeding. They naturally are traumatized. Yet the police throw the sister on the ground, handcuff her, and put her in a police car. And then Tamir's mother is told that if she doesn't calm down, they'll arrest her too. Now that you've imagined that, I need you to imagine that all of these people are white, and that it takes place in a clubhouse, swimming pool, and an affluent neighborhood. Can you picture that? Does it even seem possible? I did it myself, and I closed my eyes and I thought through the entire scene, and I live in a very nice neighborhood, and my children get to live a very nice life, but I live right down the street from the swimming pool and the tennis court, and there's a country club because it's a golf community, and I couldn't imagine it. I couldn't imagine it. You can open your eyes. It's difficult to imagine. Class as well as race plays a crucial role in the decision-making of law enforcement, and that decision-making cascades down to the officers who are on the street. See, the myths that we believe about one another lead to generalizations, and those generalizations lead to stereotypes about each other, and those stereotypes lead to prejudice, and the prejudice leads to discrimination, and discrimination leads to breaking laws, and breaking laws leads to breaking public trust. This is where we find ourselves today. The trust between the general public and those who are charged to protect and serve them has been broken. Now, it pains me to say this because at one time I worked for a law enforcement agency, My best friend is a 30-year retired police officer. I train probation and parole officers and correctional staff and police officers every single year. So I've been at work when a call has come through communications, and what one might refer to as a routine traffic stop, where one of my friends, another officer, one of my coworkers, was fired upon. So I know what that feels like. So this is not easy to say, but this is where we are. So this 3-day conference at Monmouth University is, and really this entire week of global understanding, asks scholars from multiple disciplinary perspectives to explore social injustice and inequality. Just as you recently celebrated the 48th anniversary of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech at Monmouth, what was then Monmouth College, this institution continues to be at the tip of the spear and inspiring bold new perspectives. As Elie Wiesel once said, we must take sides. Neutrality helps the oppressor, never the victim. Silence encourages the tormentor, never the tormented. Sometimes we must interfere. When human lives are endangered and when human dignity is in jeopardy, national borders and sensitivities become irrelevant. Wherever men and women are persecuted because of their race, religion, or political views, that place must, at that time, at that moment, become the center of the universe. For the next few days, the 4th Biennial Interdisciplinary Conference on Race will become the center of the universe. Now, this pivotal moment in our history, we will explore the realm of criminalization of race and religion and the Black freedom struggle. At this moment, right here at this place, we'll examine the pros and cons of prison education programs. At this moment in history, in this place, we'll measure the impact of prison labor and corporations. And at this moment in history, we will look without a jaundiced eye at the plight of African American women in the U.S. criminal justice system. So I ask you, especially the younger people in the audience, because you are, when we say you are the future, it's not just a sentiment, it is the truth. As you go from session to session over the next few days, and as you take part in these activities, I need you to put aside the pseudo-political correctness that exists. Political correctness will have to take a back seat to the effect of race and history of mandatory minimums and sentencing. Political correctness will have to take a back seat to race and criminal justice and the criminal justice system in popular media. It will have to take a back seat to the examination of African Americans and police brutality. And I know we might ruffle a few feathers or hurt someone's feelings, but political correctness will have to take a back seat to race, gender, justice, and mass incarceration. All of you at Monmouth University, you've done good work. But now is the time to actualize all of the research and all of the resources that have come together in this place at this time. Because if ever we needed to have this level of discussion, surely the time is now.